Hi everyone, this is Brazel. Welcome back to my series. This is series 3 of Did You View Your Poo? And if you have been viewing your poo, how is your poo going? Is it getting more regular? Have you checked your garage? Have you checked the health area of your house? Where are you up to with your poo? So today's series, which is the third of the series, and we'll be running consistently series of 3 because that way I can really help you in lots of ways. So we're looking at a couple of brain codes. Don't go getting worried. Don't go getting psyched out. As I said before, I'm not a doctor. You need to always check with your doctor what's going on. Always follow your doctor's advice. I'm just here to get your mind right, to get your life right, so you can live so great, long, happy, and particularly strong as you get older in life. So the 2 brain codes, well, there's actually 3, but we're going to just focus on 2 today. One is an 18 energy and the other one is a 6. Now, if you happen to have both the 18 and the 6, that's when the constipation and the poos don't always cooperate the way they should. So that 18 energy can either come as the first brain code or it can come as a path brain code. So if it's a natural brain code, then you've really got to work on not eating processed foods. You've really got to release and let go. And you've got to stop being torn between what you should have or what you think you should have and what you really want at the end of the day. Often we've got to get the focus right for those energy people. Now, if that 18 energy comes as your path code, that's a lot easier to manage because that's the people you meet, the education you have, and that's where it's easier to manage because if you're getting an 18 there, it's very simple to move you into your tribal energies by just your career path, your relationship corners. We can move so much easier in that. I'm not saying we can't fix the 18 natural code. We can, and I do. It's just a little bit more complicated. But isn't that life sometimes anyway? So we don't worry about it. So the first poo constipation brain code is an 18. And then it can be a 9. So the 18, of course, reduces to the 9. So 18 and 9 energy codes, depending where they sit, will often give me the indication of constipation plus a few other different health problems they might pop up. The other one is a 6. And if someone has an 18 and a 6, or they have a 9 and a 6 and maybe a 2, that's when it gets a little bit more complicated. But normally when someone says, oh, well, they usually don't ring me up and say, Chris, I need a consult. I'm not pooing these days and my poo doesn't look good. They usually ring up and say, life's not going great. And then I will see through their codes and then I might ask the question, how's your health and how's the poos? It's not something to be ashamed of talking about. Like, we talk about health, we talk about our heart health, we talk about our blood pressure, we talk about if we've got diabetes. If we hurt ourselves, we talk about that. So, let's start talking about the poo. It's not that bad, really. And as I say, I pick up poo every day with the horses. The horses don't chat to me about the poo, but I do check their poo so I know how they're feeling. So the 2 brain codes, as I said, I would talk to you about is one I find is an 18 brain code, which can come to a 9 brain code, and a 6 brain code combined. So when the other codes connected to the 9 is where I'm going to look for in the problem. So say I've got an 18 brain code and then they've got a 5 and a 7. That says to me I'm looking at their diet, I'm looking at their processed foods, I'm looking at the garage in the house, but I'm also getting them to look on the kitchen. And with the 7, I'm looking at how much water they take in, whether they bloat up or whether we have to get them off dairy. So normally the 6 brain codes is where I'm more conscious about the dairy, but the 6 is also where someone might be a hoarder. And if they're hoarding with things around them, then 9 times out of 10, I find they've got a constipation poo problem at the same time. So today being our third, and I hope it has helped you in some way to free your mind up about the fact and the conversation of poo. Just call it the designer poo challenge, but view your poo on a regular basis. If you have an 18-9 and an 18-9 combined with a 6, 7 or 2, then if you want to get in touch, or just buy our View Your Poo brain codes, send them in. I will check whether you have a poo constipation and what would be some of my suggestions. It's $36. It's not a large investment, and as I said, I'm not a doctor, but sometimes the natural way of looking things can often move you quicker along than pumping down medication and pills. Sometimes people need medication, sometimes people need pill. I leave that totally up to the individual and their doctor. I'm here to try and help you live a great life naturally, and to live great, to live long, and most of all to live strong. And what do I mean by strong? You have your mind senses, and you can, once you reach 100, still make decisions living in your own home. It is sad when I see people get late 80s or 90s, no longer make their decisions. So stick with me, guys. I'm going to be around for a very long time, so stick with me, and let's make it into that well over the 100. I've got a fair way to go, and I'm sure you do too, but let's get aiming for over the 100, but in a very fit, happy, healthy state, making our own decisions. So this is me out, and I'll be back with more series for you in living great, long and strong. Cheers for now.